vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the agents, not saying that you have to play sports to be able to relate and represent, but you have to have something in common outside of a transaction. You know?
Yes. Woo.
And when I kind of took that method, I started to define myself because I said agent. What is an agent? If I say real estate agent, their main job is to sell your home and get a percentage, right? Insurance agent, same thing. Sell your insurance policy, get their percentage. Even a travel agent, sell
Mm-hmm.
your travel package, get their percentage. Doesn't make them a bad person, but their job is not to follow up with you and say, hey, how's that home? They
Mm-hmm.
don't. You live in a home now.
That's
Hey,
right.
how's
They
that
on to the
policy?
next. Yep.
They're on to the next transaction. They did their job. They got their percentage. They're on to the next. So, I never wanted to be called an agent. I thought that was very transactional. It wasn't really personal. So I just started to call myself representation,
Mm.
because I feel that as representation, I am one who relates. I can relate
Mm.
to what you're going through. So not only represent you as an athlete, because I was an athlete, but represent you as a professional, as a brand, as a business, as a black man, as a future entrepreneur or businessman, as a future husband, father, all those things holistically,
Mm-hmm.
I can look at and say, if you just want to be a football player, there are a million agents that can represent you,
Mm.
right? But if you truly look at yourself as a black man, a business, a brand, a community ambassador, a role model, a future father, husband, all of this stuff, there's somewhere down the line you're going to need me for that advice.
Yes.
You're going
Yes.
to need me to help represent you because the majority of my clients now grew up in single parent households, don't know their fathers, are first time fathers, themselves. So they don't really know how to navigate that space and they're figuring out their self. So if there's, once that transaction is put away, that contract is negotiated, now I get to talk to them and really be able to build that equity of, hey, I trust this guy. He's done a good job on the football side, but here's the rest of my life. What does that look?
Yes.
Yeah, because I aspire to be a husband and wife down the road, and we share these stories. So it's really being able to lead men. And again, I would never talk bad about an agent that doesn't take that approach, that doesn't take that philosophy to the business, because everybody has a way of doing things, doesn't make it right or wrong. That's just their way, right?
Mm.
So that's just how I got in the business. So I started to see, as I'm meeting with these baseball and football agents, I just started to see the same jokers with the same approach, just different names on their companies, right?
Mm.
And literally, it was almost like, is there a book that you guys are reading, the How to Be an Agent book that you guys are reading? Because all
Probably
the
so.
same.
Probably so.
Everybody came in with that little corny Jerry Maguire story. I'm like, bro, like at that time, I had never seen Jerry Maguire. I didn't know what they was talking
Yeah.
about.
Show me the money.
I'm like, what are you talking about? And so it just became like me and my mom really looked at each other and like, they all the same. Like, what do
Mm.
we do? And so we really start to pick, okay, he's in California, never gonna be able to see him. You know what I'm saying? He's in New York, never gonna be able to see. He's right here in Atlanta. He didn't have this. He was a smaller guy, but he's right here. I can see him. I keep my eyes on him if I want to stay here. So we really had a very meticulous approach in terms of selecting the agent. Once my NFL career was over, I started working with them because in our meeting, we had this system of how we were doing our meeting, and you would have thought I was going to be the number one pick overall,
Wow.
because of how structured my meetings were. And from there, I selected him, and he made a comment to my mom. He said, once his career is over, no matter how long he plays, 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years, I want to make sure he's working for me.
Wow.
And when he said that, I was like, well, I don't work for anybody. I work with you, but I ain't gonna work for you. And he was like, oh, wow. I'm 21 years old at the time, 21 years old. So even when I was in the NFL, I was building relationships for him. Hey, talking about my agent, talking about the relationship with him, things like that. And I started to get veteran players switch over to his agent while I was in the league. So once my football career is over, I had already developed that passion for representing players and people. So I took him up on his offer. I started working with him, became his head of recruiting, director of recruiting, and literally in a short time, in 5 years, I had over 15 first-round picks and 40 plus clients. And literally,
Wow.
my first draft, I had 3 first-round picks. Next draft, I had 3. Next draft, I had 2 to 3. So every draft I worked with, we had 2 or more first-round picks. And
you were the head of recruiting. You were the one bringing these.
yeah, I was the one that was building the relationships, going out, and it was crazy because he was a little Atlanta-based local agent. He was very good at what he did, but he didn't really expand outside of the Southeast. And, I'm going to Nebraska getting Prince Amukamara. I'm going to Minnesota getting Eric Decker, Notre Dame getting Golden Tate, things like that. Northern Illinois is getting Larry English, guys like that. So they was like, man, this dude got a talent. He can really build relationships. And, that's where that whole representation came into play. He was an agent. I wasn't even an agent at the time. I was just a recruiter, what I'm saying? But I could relate in areas that he couldn't, So even though he was the agent, the transactional guy, he can never do what I can do in terms of relating.
Hold on. See, you're talking about, so we talked about hedging, the downside protection or thinking about it. Now you're talking about leverage, right? Where you understand where your gifts and your talents lie, where you can step in and be one of the world's best. So now you have leverage. So you started off hedging the bottom, making sure that, hey, if something don't work, where am I going to go next? Right. Now you started to identify your greatness. And you're like, yo, as a recruiter, as the one building the relationships, as the one bringing in all of these guys, I got a talent that basically puts me at the top tier of folks that are in this particular profession. That's fellas, pay attention to that. Yeah. Understand where your gifts lie.
I understand where your gifts lie. And that's it. And as good as he was at the time, it was always that salesman feel, and that a lot of this business is sell. And that's why I don't see, I mean, if I turn myself into a salesman, I could possibly sign every client I go after. But there's not a salesman bone in my body. I don't have that component to where I could tell a guy what he wants to hear to get what I want. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that in me. In this business, a lot of these kids want to hear what they want to hear. You know what I'm saying? They want to hear the bells and whistles. They want you to dress it up in the shiny, put the rims on it. And it's not like that. This is a tough process. And, but when so many people are doing it like this, and I'm over here, to some guys you stand out, but to some guys you're different, and that's not good. I want to go over here. So the clients I have, it's a situation where they want to be more than athletes. They truly do. They see the value because they know, let's be honest, not one of these agents are going to physically play for me, right? They're not going to play for me.
No.
So what value are they adding? What value are they adding to my livelihood? On the field, obviously, they have to be able to do the job, but you can look at certain people's client base and know that they can do the job. I don't have Chase Young and Jarvis Landry and Alvin Kamara and Jeff Okuda and Mekhi Becton. I don't have all these top players because I can't do the job. I've done major contracts. What added value am I bringing to you as a Black man? And
hold on, dude. Because again, you're dropping the gem. What added value am I bringing to you as a Black man? See, this is a beautiful time to be alive. I know there are challenges going on socioeconomically and politically and all of that stuff. There are challenges going on, but this is also a very beautiful time to be alive because we're now in a place where it is a value prop to say I am a Black man.
Right.
That's actually a value proposition. Hey, I am a Black man and I understand you. And it's okay to say that. For so long, we ran from that. We tried to, like you mentioned, fit into the bubble or follow the script of what everybody else is doing. Oh, Jerry Maguire, I got to follow this script and dress this way and say this. No. Right. This is who I am. Authenticity is the new wave. And hopefully that's the wave to stay. But regardless of whether it's here to stay, you're here to stay operating within that authenticity, which is going to continuously lead to your success because those that get it. And those are the ones that you want to get it because those are the ones you're connected to.